John William Godward was an English painter from the end of the Pre-Raphaelite Neo-Classicist era. He was a proto-copyright copyright of Sir Lawrence Alma-Tadema, but his style of painting fell out of favour with the arrival of painters like Picasso. He committed suicide at the age of 61 and is said to have written in his suicide note that the world was not big enough for him and a Picasso. His already estranged family, who had disapproved of his becoming an artist, were ashamed of his suicide and burned his papers. No photographs of Godward are known to survive. Early life: Godward was born in 1861 and lived in Wilton Grove, Wimbledon. He was born to John Godward and Sarah Borrell. Godward was the eldest of 5 children and was named after his father John and grandfather William. He was christened at St Mary's Church in Battersea on October 27, 1861. The overbearing attitude of his parents resulted in Godward's reclusive and shy ways later in adulthood. Career: he exhibited at the Royal Academy from 1887. When he moved to Italy with one of his models in 1912, his family broke off all contact with him and even cut his image from family pictures. Godward returned to England in 1919, died in 1922 and is buried in Brompton Cemetery, West London. One of his best-known paintings is Dolce far niente, which currently resides in the collection of Andrew Lloyd Webber. As in the case of several other paintings, Godward painted more than one version, in this case an earlier 1897 version. Works: Godward was a Victorian neo-classicist, and therefore a follower in theory of Frederick Leighton. However, he is more closely allied stylistically to Sir Lawrence Alma-Tadema, with whom he shared a penchant for the rendering of classical architecture, in particular, static landscape features constructed from marble. The vast majority of Godward's extant images feature women in classical dress, posed against these landscape features, though there are some semi-nude and fully nude figures included in his Over, a title shared with a controversial Alma-Tadema painting of the same subject that resides in the Lady Lever Art Gallery. The titles reflect Godward's source of inspiration, classical civilization, most notably that of ancient Rome, though ancient Greece sometimes features, thus providing artistic ties, albeit of a more limited extent, with Leighton. Given that classical scholarship was more widespread among the potential audience for his paintings during his lifetime than in the present day, meticulous research of detail was important in order to retain a standing as an artist in this genre. Alma-Tadema was, as well as a painter, an archaeologist who attended historical sites and collected artifacts that were later used in his paintings. Godward, too, studied such details as architecture and dress, in order to ensure that his works bore the stamp of authenticity. In addition, Godward painstakingly and meticulously rendered those other important features in his paintings. Animal Skins and A Cool Retreat contain superb examples of such rendition, and Wild Flowers, illustrated above, and Summer Flowers are again excellent examples of this. The appearance of beautiful women in studied poses in so many of Godward's canvases causes many newcomers to his works to categorize him mistakenly as being pre-Raphaelite, particularly as his palette is often a vibrantly colorful one. However, the choice of subject matter is more properly that of the Victorian neoclassicist. However, it is appropriate to comment that in common with numerous painters contemporary with him, Godward was a high Victorian dreamer, producing beautiful images of a world which, it must be said, was idealized and romanticized, and which in the case of both Godward and Alma-Tadema came to be criticized as a worldview of Victorians in togas. Godward quickly established a reputation for his paintings of young women in a classical setting and his ability to convey with sensitivity and technical mastery the feel of contrasting textures, flesh, marble, fur and fabrics. Godward's penchant for creating works of art set in the classical period probably came from the time period in which he was born. The last full-scale classical revival in Western painting bloomed in England in the 1860s and flowered there for the next 3 decades. List of works by the artist, Gallery, John William Godward. References. External links, Biography of J. W. Godward by Vern Grosvenor Swanson, Works by John William Godward at the Art Renewal Center, johnwilliamgodward.org, Godward at the Getty Museum, Works of J. W. Godward at http www.the-athenaeum.org